Well, then the country is reeling from a host of scandals involving COVID-19 funding projects. The ANC has made more promises to deal with the issue. Yesterday, the Finance Minister, Tito Mboweni, said Treasury would be tightening procurement measures. And now the President, as I've been saying, has ordered an interministerial team to investigate. For more on this, let's speak to Karam Singh. He is with Corruption Watch. He joins us by Skype this afternoon. Karam, a very good afternoon to you. Thank you so much for speaking to us. So the President announcing in the last hour an interministerial team that will now be seized with investigating allegations of PPE corruption. Are you now more confident that there is movement, a reaction from government?
Yeah, look, I mean, it's great to see that there is a reaction from government. It's great to see that this is being taken up at the highest level of cabinet in terms of understanding the significance of the challenge. It's unfortunate that it happens after the revelation of various allegations and that these structures weren't put in place initially. From Corruption Watch's standpoint, we had called from the beginning of the lockdown to say that we were moving into a vulnerable period when it came to corruption with the mobilization of the funds to deal with the national disaster. And, this reactive approach to dealing with corruption is really not taking us as far as we need to go. We need something beyond ad hoc structures. We need a real permanent system when it comes to publication of procurement data in particular in order to be able to monitor this, to get us out of this type of mire that we find ourselves in.
And that comes then to the point made by the Finance Minister, Tito Mboweni, in Parliament yesterday. And I quote, he said, "Thieves are waiting at the door as this COVID-19 money is being dispersed to provide the various needed essentials at this point." When you hear that sort of commitment, you wonder, though, can it keep the thieves out?
Rhetoric alone is not going to keep the thieves out, but promoting a culture of compliance and putting systemic structures in place to deal with investigations, to deal with these allegations, will have an impact over time. But clearly there is a political will challenge within the ruling party. This is not an issue that the NEC is united on. And at least these statements from the Minister of Finance and from the President indicate some kind of a shift when it comes to the issue of political will to deal with these issues.
But you wonder why government and the likes of Treasury could not foresee that money would be looted, because sadly South Africa has a long history of monies being stolen from government.
We have a procurement system which is really broken, which is vulnerable to corruption. This is not something which should be news to anybody. We had an arms deal in the first 10 years of our democracy, which has been proven to be corrupt. Nobody's ever been held accountable for that, other than a brief appearance in prison by Comrade Tony Ngeni. This shouldn't have been a surprise to anybody. We really have a deep-seated culture and challenge around corruption, and we haven't had the commensurate structures in place to address it. The SIU is a positive development. The proclamation to have the SIU do these investigations is a positive development, but we need a much deeper structural commitment to fixing the corruption challenges that we face.
But the commitments from government are hollow, aren't they, Karam, when the everyday foot soldiers in the various government departments who do deal with contracts are not being honest and, to some degree, enable the corruption by business?
As I said, I think the corruption is deep-seated. I think it's not just political leaders. It does go down to officials and accounting offices across the public sector. I don't think the words are hollow, because I think they are being backed up with some action. So I do think that this committee is an absolutely positive development. But we can't have a kind of ad hoc approach to something which is deep-seated in the system. So procurement corruption isn't something that just emerged in a time of COVID. It's something that we've been living with for some time. So we need to move beyond ad hoc committees of cabinet to really deal with this issue. This is a structural issue which requires an independent anti-corruption agency empowered to do investigations and bring people to book.
Karam Singh from Corruption Watch, good to speak to you this afternoon, sir.